Everybody, I hope you are having a fantastic day, and you're here on Sports Point Podcast, where we're going to be covering, obviously, Point Park sports. And in addition to that, the fall is starting to come to an end. Winter is showing up, and hoops is starting up. A lot of big things are happening. Make sure to go check out that first episode we released, as this is our second. And back to special things, we have a special guest from the men's lacrosse team today, and we'll be right back with you guys.
So, like Johnny mentioned, we're here with special guest Caleb Hebert.
Hey guys, thank you guys for letting me be part of your podcast.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So, we were just going to ask a few questions. So, how do you like it at Point Park so far? How's your experience? What do you think of the school?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good area. I love the whole Pittsburgh area, especially with, I'm huge in sports. So, being in a city that's, practically revolves around sports is awesome. Playing a sport I love, even better out here. Not a lot wrong with it. It's just a little smaller downtown, obviously. I'm sure you guys know it as well. It's just sometimes a little cramped in here, but overall, I like it.
Fair. Where are you from originally? I know you moved around a bunch, as we talked about off the podcast, but where are you from originally?
Yeah, so I lived in California for a couple years, most of my high school. I moved around a lot, but I moved to Virginia my senior year.
Sweet. Is that different than Pittsburgh? I'm not from here. I'm from Canada, obviously, but how is that different from back home, being here?
Yeah, I mean, it's this is very New Yorky. I described it as a cleaner New York. So Virginia is very open, beachy. Same thing with California. So it's actually pretty much the opposite of what I was expecting.
Yeah, talking about Pittsburgh and the major league teams, have you been able to go to any of the sports?
Yeah, I ended up going to the Pens game when I first came down here for an official visit during my recruitment process. And then I just went to a Pirates game with the team very beginning of the season. I want to go see some more sports out here. I mean, I think I want to see the Steelers super bad. I think I did watch Pitt as well, too, actually, Pitt Panthers, but I do want to watch football bad.
Tickets are expensive, though.
Yeah.
We were looking at, for my family, we were looking at doing, I think when they played the Bills, and it was crazy. They're $300 a ticket, so kind of ridiculous, but...
Yeah, they take it serious out here. And I saw you guys have the draft thing out near front. Are any of you guys from Pittsburgh, so you guys know about that?
I am, yeah. I mean, I'm a diehard Steelers fan. Me and my dad go all the time. We got, season tickets, and it's sick, honestly. I mean, they weren't having the greatest start in the middle here, but they're starting to pick it up. Defense looks better, so I think going to a game now would be a little more exciting. But going back to the whole setting thing, I mean, if I was in your spot, I feel like a big perk is Highmark Stadium. That's a nice field to play on. I don't really know because it is turf, and I know there's a lot of mixed opinions on that stuff. I don't know with lacrosse, but where was that something that played a role? Or
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, dude, this Highmark is one of the most beautiful stadiums I've played in personally. I played a lot in grass in Virginia. I played a lot in grass in California. I always had mixed opinions about it as well. I always thought the best grass field was better than the best turf field, but anything other than the best grass field, turf was better by a mile. And so it's actually really good playing out here. And we just practiced today in the snow. I actually can't wait to play a season with it.
Yeah, you can't beat that view. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing about Highmark, just that view of the city in the background. I feel like that's the biggest part about playing there is I mean, if you're taking pictures of athletes, that view's in the background 90% of the time.
Yeah, our coaches keep preaching too. It's the best stadium in D2 lacrosse. It's awesome. Genuinely is beautiful there. So I know lots of my friends from home and that I've talked to, they're all super jealous. It's pretty cool to play there.
I think a big thing I was going to ask actually was we talked about on the last podcast of our the last episode, we focused heavily on how you guys were competing with teams like Pitt and Duquesne, like bigger name teams, and honestly, that's like amazing. But how is it like with all of the freshmen? I mean, that has to be a very different not having the upperclassmen.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you kind of have to build a culture like brick by brick. Like, there's not a culture here. There's not like expectations. Like, I mean, obviously there's expectations, but there's not the same expectations as like the upperclassmen obviously are starting. The freshmen are obviously bottom of the depth chart. Like everyone's a little like fighting tooth and nail for a spot that usually an upperclassman would have by a mile. And then playing a team like Pitt, like, I mean, dude, they're full of just like upperclassmen. Like, I mean, they were just running through us. Like a freshman team, you know, a lot of the guys are bigger and just more dominant, honestly. Like, it's just, it was nice to compete with them, honestly, I actually thought, just so everyone could get good looks at what the actual season is going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, off of that, really, I do think this could be my opinion, but from what you've said, I could see it as well. Coming into a team where it's full of freshmen, I feel like chemistry would be actually a lot easier than what people would think. And also I think it would be more competitive because, I mean, you're all first year. You have so much to fight for. You know, you want to set goals, especially since you're the newest to it. I mean, where did that play for you?
I mean, like, I think everyone is like the whole chemistry thing. I think everyone, like, we all get together on the weekends. We all spend time together. Like, it's really great all being freshmen and all being like kind of on the same page and all being able to share those experiences together. And then absolutely, I mean, I think we're all competitive, honestly. I think, like, obviously we're all friends, but like there's a little part of us that all of us are competing for top spot, right? We're all freshmen, so no one's got a secured spot, so everyone's just fighting, and it makes it. I personally love it. Like, I think it makes the team better. Like if everyone's competing, the team's competing. That's what I think.
For sure.
To build off that, I know you mentioned like on the weekend stuff, how we go and do stuff, but like I know my opinion on, but like how do you think like us all being in freshman dorms like plays a role into that? Like, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Like, do you think we're together too much? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it was a really good idea for Coach. Coach put us all in like roommates with lacrosse players. I'm roomed up with two of the more lacrosse players. I think it's great, honestly. Like, we're able to keep each other accountable, being able to build more of a culture together, and I don't think we get individual time, but I think we do spend a lot of time together sometimes, and it's difficult to be able to break away from that and maybe not hang out with a lacrosse guy every now and then. It's just hard to be part of a different friend group than like we're all staying together in lacrosse. So like, oh, hey, you're heading out, I'll head out with you. So it's easy to get grouped up and not be able to find any better relationships as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is something we normally do later, but I gotta know it now. I'm big on food, maybe not at Point Park, but since you're from Virginia, coming from an outside source to an inside source, what is the best place in Pittsburgh, as of right now for you, as a freshman, that you would eat at? The best.
The best? I mean, Chipotle's a gimme out here. But honestly, some of the local pizza spots, honestly, I've actually been digging. Like, they're just cheap, easy college student grabs. Like, I haven't been to anywhere super fancy, I guess, except for when my parents came down, like some low spots, just steak and something nice. But most of the little casual pizza spots, I do want to try some local little taco spots I saw, but I think there's like a protein bowl nearby.
What's your go-to in the dining hall?
I usually like to look for fish. I'm actually a big fish guy. Like, I love the fish that they actually have. I'm not even.
The fish they had today wasn't really that bad. It was like cheese, bacon. Wasn't that bad. I'm just, I'm a little picky about that stuff. But on the topic of pizza, now do you go to Genoa's or Papa Allen's or whatever?
I'm a Genoa's guy.
Yes,
Someone put me on
sir.
a Pizza Fiesta. I need to try it more.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
I've
I
always
think
been a Genoa's guy.
Genoa's is better, I think, than Pizza Fiesta.
I don't know. I had Genoa's yesterday, and that Point Park deal's not that bad. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's like $14
for a extra. Like it's a large, but it's like an extra large cup and a whole pizza. I mean, you can't beat that. Come on.
Oh no.
I don't know.
What topics do you put on it?
Johnny disagrees?
Oh.
I gotta say, honestly, I'm gonna give it to Papa Allen's. And listen, you have to hear me out. I'm Italian. I know it's not that great, but to be fair, none of them are the greatest. I'm gonna put that out there.
All right, but you can't beat a slice of Genoa's. Genoa's slices are the size of my head. No.
But recently, you have to understand, this is where I'm at. I've never been in the mood to get a full pizza, and I think Papa Allen's slices are actually larger. Maybe not as thick, but they're larger, and you get ranch for free with it. And since it's not that great, like it doesn't have everything, the ranch is a good addition. A good late night grab.
I actually did try it, and my buddy put me on. He was like, "These slices are bigger, but dude, Genoa's just has way better quality for the slice."
Now, does Genoa's have dessert? Because I know Papa Allen's does, and I tried their cheesecake, and it was good for like a 11 p.m. cheesecake. I was satisfied with it.
I don't know. I know they have subs and stuff, but I've never looked any further than that.
They got good music. Every time I'm in Genoa's, they got a good song going. They got the vibes right. They got the TVs.
I like it too. You go late night on like a Friday, Saturday. It's always going in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You always get a show.
Yeah. I think it's a very debatable topic. It really depends on your mood. That's where I think I lie with it. You know, quality of the slice, yeah, I'll probably give it to Genoa's. But at the end of the day, recently in college, especially being at Point Park, no hate to them, but food is food. It's edible. I'm going to eat it, and I'm looking for the cheapest price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's where I'm at.
Okay, the tacos from Boost, though? Pretty
Never
good.
had
I haven't had it.
Never
yeah.
had it.
Whoa.
They're pretty good.
Actually,
What do
yeah.
you
You
get?
guys use a Boost more than the dining hall?
I had I had a run with Boost. I had like a 2-week run with it, but I've been on the dining hall since.
I think it caught up to me, honestly. I looked and I'm like, okay, I'll put my flex points on that. I have 0. I'm completely out. Like, I'm talking 0. The meal swipes, you can't use them for if you already used them for lunch. And that's what I want Boost the most.
For Boost?
Yeah, if you get your lunch and like say I want a little snack between lunch and dinner, I can't use my swipe. I don't know if it's just my app.
I think
it
it must just be you. Today I ordered 3 chicken sandwiches for lunch. Using 3 meal swipes.
Wait, did you go to dining hall before that though?
No.
I think it's because like you go to dining hall beforehand.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Maybe.
It won't let me. But I moved away from it because honestly, I think the dining hall has more variety.
True.
I just like the fact you can get a refill here and there at the dining hall, and that's like a big.
All you can
I'm
eat.
low-key.
Yeah.
I'm low-key on the parfaits, honestly. I love making me a good parfait there. But they don't have honey, and that's like the biggest thing I put in my parfait.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it started building up like mid-fall for me, and I had to lock back in. Like the food, there's just so much food. It's not that it's like the greatest, but like when you got something like that in front of you, you're just gonna I'm not gonna think about how much I.
Those
weigh.
cookies aren't bad either. Talking about that, those cookies.
Oh yeah, you love those.
Ice cream too. Mm.
Oh yeah, cookies and cream. Oh, ice cream flavor. What do we got?
I'm a big chocolate marshmallow guy.
Chocolate marshmallow. Is that
Have y'all tried the
It's always
Play-Doh
over.
one? I've never tried the Play-Doh one.
Play-Doh?
Is that like the Superman one?
Kindergarten?
It's like the rainbow colored one.
No, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. Yeah. Well, we went very off topic, but honestly, these are the questions that people love the most. You know, that's what they want to see from insider outs of the athletes. But yeah, definitely. But we really appreciate the time we spent on here. We may have covered a couple things about lacrosse, and also food. But it was a great time talking with you, and we're very happy that you could hop on here with us.
All right, thank you guys for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We will be right back with you guys after this break.
Join us tonight in Lawrence Hall 200 or the Harry Potter room for bingo from 6 till 8, where there'll be lots of prizes and pizza for those who attend.
For sure. Go check that out. Meet new people. It's something just productive and fun, honestly. And
there's going to be pizza. You can't pass up on pizza now, guys. Come on.
Especially free food.
Yep. Like we mentioned earlier about pizza. We love it here. Free. Good perk. Anyways, back to discussion. Like we mentioned in the last episode, we got a lot to cover, guys. The winter is rolling through. Hoops has been started, and there's a game tomorrow. And we can cover some other things about the fall. You know, we missed a couple things. But the first thing I want to mention is, how do you think us playing the first, I believe, Avery, was it 6 games? The first 6 games away?
6 games are away for Point Park, yes.
I don't know. I feel like that's a disadvantage in some ways, and I'm kind of curious to find out how it rolls off, because home field advantage plays a role, and I've seen it with the Steelers. So,
yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
I think especially in like a college, university setting, right? I think that especially in men's basketball, like I feel like that gets a huge pull of people from the university, right? So they'll probably have a big student section there. Like, you never know, it might be loud, might not be able to hear something, play call. So I think like it does work in the other team's favor, but I think that like it'll just help prepare us too for the rest of the year to be able to like just be straight into it. You're straight into that atmosphere of like loud, the gym's going to be loud, like all that stuff. I think it'll be good to just be thrown right into it, because then when you come play at home, it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but the only disadvantage for Point Park is that when we have home games, our first couple of home games, there's not going to be a lot of students there, as Christmas break is almost here. But speaking of the basketball team, there is 3 returners. There's Caden Warner, Brandon Williams, and Rob Keys. All 3 of them are actually guards. So I mean, having returners is a big key for success, I feel like,
For sure.
and especially in basketball and college basketball, because you don't really see that often, especially for people that are like trying to like go to the league and stuff like that. I feel like having guys that are sticking it out and wanting to play until they can't is like a big part of having team chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But I do want to go back on a point. I kind of disagree with you about how we might not have that many people at home. I think it really is dictated purely off of how we play these first 6 games. If we come off 6-0 and have a really hot start, I think the fan base is going to be on right away. But it could be like you said, obviously people will be away. But at the same time, if they have a really rough start, since they are not at home, which plays a role, there might be less fans, which could lead to disasters. I don't think that will happen, but it's always something to keep in mind, because I know at least, and I'm sure Nolan, since your lacrosse season happened, fans play a role really with any sport, and having them behind you is also a really big thing.
Yeah, like I think it's cool to play in front of people, but like again, like I think you kind of mentioned, like if those first 6 games do go wrong, right? You're at home. It's not like the people here are seeing that yet. Like they might just see the score. Like, you know what I mean? They're not seeing the team. So like I think people will still want to get out and see the team play. Especially like friends and obviously family and stuff. Like they'll definitely want to get out and see a couple games. And from everything I've heard that the games get super busy, especially like I said, that men's basketball gets super busy.
Yeah, for sure.
Have either of you guys been to what was the center called? Where do they play their games?
I'm pretty sure
CCAC, I believe.
Have either of you been there?
College.
Is it nice?
Yeah. I don't really know much about it, but like you said, I did hear that there are people that really show up to it. And the other thing is, we're talking about men's basketball, but I do want to say that women's basketball, it's still very big We may have not got the results that we wanted against the opponent, like when we played Maryland, but at the same time, that's like crazy to me. You know, like a team that just got moved up to D2 is playing like a Big Ten team, like a very good team that has shown success in the past. And for us to just, you know, put up numbers and get that experience, I think is really huge for the team, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is too. They do play today, actually. They do play the Shippensburg Raiders at Shippensburg. So, I mean, that's really gonna be a big test for them as well, coming off a loss as they did. So it's either, you know, if you're really wanting to start off the season hot, you start it off hot away. I feel like is the best part. There's the best way to do it. I feel like, you know, sending a message to other teams and saying, hey, we can play away off rip is a big message, I would say, instead of, you know, saying, hey, you know, we're playing home and we're winning. I mean, it's the what if you play it away, you know?
Yeah. I think that Maryland game probably prepared them pretty good too, right? Playing obviously super high competition, playing away, like especially in the atmosphere that Maryland plays in, right? I think that probably prepared them. So hopefully they can pull out the win. That'd be super cool. And like Avery said, start the season off hot.
And another really big thing, it might sound funny, but a lot of the baseball guys, Coach gave us an opportunity if we wanted to like do Scout O or Scout D with them. So a couple of the guys, not me, but I know a couple of my teammates actually are like going up there earlier, and they're like going against them, which like sounds funny, but at the same time, it's actually good competition, you know? Like, I mean, I think that's kind of cool. And in addition, like focusing on the positive things we've been saying, I've also been seeing the basketball guys, like I just saw them in the weight room, and they were looking quick. They were doing all the drills and stuff. And I think a really big role, like you said, there were returning guys, but I believe there's a lot of transfers too.
Mm.
Yeah, there is. One big standout is the replacement of Nazir Fisher. This kid, he went D1, he entered the transfer portal, found himself a home at Eastern Illinois. And they picked up a kid, Greg Williams. I mean, this kid, he's an amazing kid. I met him myself. He's one of the politest guys I've ever met. I mean, he doesn't act like, you know, he owns the place or owns, like, the team. I mean, he's just a guy here trying to get better, I feel like.
Yeah. I think that's cool. Like, you know, be an athlete, but also be, like, a good person outside of that. I think that's something that, like, all the teams, like, here at Point Park preach, you know, is be a good person first and then be an athlete.
I feel like, when you're saying that, of course, like, I mean, having the characteristics of a great person ahead of, you know, saying you're an athlete is probably the biggest thing, and like the biggest maturity level that you can have as a college athlete is saying, I'm a gentleman or a polite woman, instead of saying, hey, I'm an athlete. I feel like that's like a biggest standout if I was a coach.
Yeah. I mean, I think another big thing is, you know, having those transfers. Those are guys who have experience and they have knowledge, like, about teams and stuff, but at the same time, they're coming into a program that, you know, recently got moved up, and they're going to be as coachable as possible because they want to get that PT. Obviously, they have big goals in mind since they left the school already. And I think that's a really big thing, having transfer guys. You know, it's been a new thing in recent history, and there's been a lot of success I've seen with different teams with it too.
Yeah, I think to like go on top of that, like everybody's gonna have their own set of experiences, right? Everybody's gonna have played like, you know, a different system, so everybody's gonna have something that they're good at and something that they bring to the table. You know, being a transfer, being from different programs. So I think that's really cool. You know, kind of make it one big, you know, culture and like how they play. It'd be cool to have everybody's different play styles all mix.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And another big thing I think we got to talk about is I was talking to a couple of the wrestler guys. I know Avery did as well. And they had a pretty big tournament they played. And a couple of the guys, they got some wins against some high D2, low D1. You know, they were seeing teams like Penn State at this tournament. You know, like it was really big for them and a major jump. And I think that there's been a lot of progress that's been showed. But at the same time, when I was talking to them, they saw a lot of things that they know they have to work on now that they saw that higher level. And one of them said, there's levels to this. And they saw it there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the invitation that they went to was at Millersville in PA, which is Western PA, if people don't know. I feel like that's like, it's a very big tournament if you're not if you don't know wrestling. It's a very big tournament for colleges and high schoolers as well. High schoolers actually go to wrestle there. At the 149 weight class, Bo Bassett, the number one overall recruit in the 2026 class, actually wrestled there this past weekend at that tournament as well. He, of course, he won it. He won all his matches by tech ball, which is the mercy rule of wrestling, is where you win by 15. And I feel like, being able to be like for wrestlers to look up and like want to get better, I feel like that's the best way to do it, especially if you're in high school, is going to collegiate opens and trying to get your name out like that and not be scared of who you're wrestling and stuff like that. And I feel like that's what Point Park did as well. Not having, the doubt, being like, oh, we're just getting D2 and stuff like that, and going out there and setting the tone against teams, like you said, like Penn State, Maryland. Some of our wrestlers our 141 faced a kid from Maryland. He almost beat him, but I mean, I think that's just like, setting the tone, saying, hey, I'm not just a D2 guy. I came here to wrestle, not to be like, yeah, we're D2. So yeah, I think that's like the biggest factors,
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree on that. And I think really the biggest takeaway from it all is getting our name out there at big tournaments like that. Even if we're not the most successful, but we're getting wins and we're improving as wrestlers, or just for any sport in general, we could say for the basketball team, depending on how they do within these next games, I think it's getting Point Park's name out there as well. Like, I know a lot of guys from home that didn't hear about them, but they saw this stuff and they're like, oh, wow. Like, they didn't expect that, which I think is another thing a lot of coaches have tried to implement, especially with newer programs, is kind of being that underdog, having that mindset. And I think that's
and I feel like, having that transition is, like I said in the last episode, is it's going very successful as of so far. Being able to make an impact like that was like the biggest factor for Point Park, I would say. And just the fact that, like, for like the smaller programs, like the new programs that have just started up, like lacrosse and wrestling, they're already making impact in their sport. So like looking at it for recruits, it's like, hey, like, like this team's actually making a name for themselves just like that. It's not like, it's taken us 5 years to make a name for ourselves. We fit in. We don't, we're honestly outside of the box already, I feel like, from how successful our programs have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, typically there's that year or two phase where the team's like easing into it, but like I think, like you guys have both said, I think their wrestling team's doing a good job of just diving head first, like straight into it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And another thing is, going off of what we said with Point Park, I'm gonna mention it again because I think it's huge. We just got moved up. The women's flag football. I mean, that's a new sport in general for a lot of schools. I know Chatham brought it in, Pitt, St. Vincent, a lot of D3s actually too. Like, and it kind of struck my curiosity at first to why we added it, but then I realized that, like, this is just gonna build our program more. And I feel like we focus so much, like how we've mentioned in the past, we're a dance and art school, and that's what a lot of people look at. Mm-hmm. But going purely off how many transfers we have, how many international people we have for these sports, track and field's another sport we could focus on a lot too. They were very successful, especially cross country, and I just think it's amazing. going back to what I said, I'm still in awe about it. I think it's amazing that we're adding all of these things and we're not just being looked at purely for dance and arts and acting.
Yeah, I think there's just so much to offer here, right? Like first we had dance and arts, but now we have all these like sports teams that, everybody like on the sports teams like wants to win. So like hope we have a bunch of competitive teams. Like it's just gonna draw more people in, right? Hopefully get more talent to some of the sports teams, So then like hopefully we can be competing for, championships just like the baseball team did last year, which I thought was super cool. But yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying, like with programs, it's not just for the school, it's for athletes who want an opportunity at the next shot, at the next level, and I feel like that's the biggest part about Point Park is they make sure that they care for their athletes. I feel like, having trainers and all that accessible and stuff like that. It's just the con to it is that the trainers aren't open on the weekends. I feel like I feel like that's the biggest problem. But if once our programs get bigger and bigger, we might have weekday and weekend trainers
For sure.
by the time we graduate. But that's just we start from here. We're grateful with what we have, but the future we're looking on beyond of what we can right now.
Yeah, and I think a really big thing you mentioned there was the fact about the trainers, not being open on the weekends. I think, yeah, that's not the best, and that could change. But at the same time, I think it helps like athletes realize how important it is to take care of themselves personally and not rely on a trainer as well.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like there's a question that I was going to ask actually is I know we've been pulling in many recruits. I saw a lot of baseball recruits over this fall, and I'm sure like they're going to grow more. I know you mentioned for wrestling that at one point there were recruits showing up early, and it's pretty early for that. And how are we going to fit all these people? I mean, I know we had them in the hotels, and the draft is going to be going on. Once that passes, that probably will open some opportunity. But let alone like with apartments, housing, and all of that, like that's a big question I had because we're going to pull and attract more people, especially adding a new sport like women's flag football too.
Yeah, and I feel like housing is going to be the number one. What if we don't, as of right now, for the people that don't know, Point Park has people, student athletes, in a hotel at the Point, which is a park right beside it. This next semester, they're actually not going to be there anymore. So it's got, honestly, like on this topic, it's like, where are they going to be? Like, because these dorms aren't the biggest. And to be honest, there's no way there's going to be enough rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is going to be a struggle to find where they're going to go. Hopefully, they all have a place and aren't forced to, find something on their own. 'Cause, I don't know, do either of you guys, have you guys heard anything that's what's happening? Like, I know they're getting moved from the hotel, but, like, have you guys heard where they're going yet or no?
No.
I haven't, but the people I asked, like, I think I asked someone within the housing, and I might have asked my RA, but anyway, like, they didn't seem stressed about it, which I thought was kind of crazy. But I'm going to let them figure it out. But it was a question I had in mind. I mean, it's just, like, it's a great thing that we're getting and attracting this many students and enrollment's growing. Like, obviously, that's great for money and us being new to D2 and seeing that early improvements. That's great. But there are always going to be downsides to any college with that and also with it decreasing,
Yeah.
But I think we're fortunate that that's not really the case for us with all the success we've had within this year and the year before. But yeah, definitely. I think, honestly, we covered a lot of big things today. Hoops, that's something we're going to keep you guys updated on because it's starting up. I mean, I'm excited for it. I think we're all excited for it. A lot of transfers, returning players, a big thing since we've seen a lot of freshman groups, which is also very big. Women's had a hard fight against a really good team, but we're hoping they're going to see more success within this next game. We'll see how the coach handles that. And, the fall was very successful overall. And with that being said, Avery, what do we say?
What's the sport? What's the point of sports without sports point? Ladies and gentlemen, when we air this, it will be most likely be Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving and travel safe. And we'll see you next time.